Hi everyone, this is Ray, or some of you might know me as Tiki with Ray, and today I am in the rocking Jellyfish Lounge in Gig Harbor, Washington. This is Steven's home tiki bar. But today we have an honored guest here, all the way from Seattle, Washington, is Dennis Berg.
Yep.
And Dennis, well, used to be a bartender at the Trader Vic's that used to be in Seattle. And when did you start?
Started there in 1975.
1975. Wow.
It was great.
I was 4.
You were 4?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then you are still a bartender. You used to bartend at Trader Vic's.
Yes.
And to this day, you are bartending at the Space Needle.
Yep.
Like literally.
At the Space Needle.
Like up in the Space Needle.
Yes.
Still
500 feet in the air.
And that's the reason why we have all these Seattle World's Fair glasses surrounding you. This is like your little pulpit.
Yeah, it is. This is great.
So, but before we get into your story, I want to get a little, just kind of like get the facts straight when it comes to the Seattle Trader Vic's, because it is a little complicated, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So, originally, correct me if I'm wrong, originally it was the Outrigger.
Correct.
In the Ben Franklin Hotel.
In the Ben Franklin Hotel.
And that's what it was called, right?
Yes.
And it was the second Trader Vic's, right? After Emeryville?
Yeah.
No. The first one was in Oakland.
Yeah, the first one was in Oakland.
Hinky Dinks. Hinky Dinks
Right,
became
that's right,
Trader
Hinky Dinks.
Yes.
But this, Seattle was the second, I believe, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the idea was I think they wanted to do the whole franchising kind of thing, which is what they did. So originally was the Outrigger, right?
The Outrigger.
The Ben Franklin Hotel, which is no longer there anymore.
Right.
Because I tried going there, because it's on Fifth Avenue, it's right underneath the monorail. It's not, that building is no longer there. But it turned into Trader Vic's then? Like it was first it was called the Outrigger, and then they changed the name.
It was in the lobby of the Ben Franklin Hotel.
Yeah. And then it became Trader Vic's, right?
Yeah, it became Trader Vic's.
And then that building, then that shut down, and then they moved it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was, they built a second tower.
A second tower.
The first tower was
Weston.
Washington Plaza. They tore down the Ben Franklin to build a second tower.
Okay.
And then, but they had remodeled a room in the basement of the first tower.
Yeah.
And that's where Trader Vic's moved. So there was Trader Vic's never closed. They just moved directly into the basement of the Washington Plaza Hotel.
Okay, cool. So they just moved. There wasn't two simultaneously. It was one place that moved to another.
Right.
And it was at the basement. And here's the funny thing, Dennis. I moved to Seattle in 2002. And I remember going to a all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant that was in the basement of the it's now the Weston Hotel.
Right.
And then learning after the fact that it's like, oh, that was the location where this Trader Vic's was. Because it was like what did it look like? What did that, when you were working there in the 70s, what did this Trader Vic's look like? I mean...
They just moved everything, all the decor, all the tiki poles, all the blowfish, everything was all moved into the new Trader Vic's.
Wow.
Now, did you worked at both locations then?
Yes.
Okay, so you straddled, okay.
No, well, you would have been at the one.
At the one, but I just they remodeled they built up the new Trader Vic's, and I just left and walked. I didn't miss a day.
Yeah.
So all right, you're showing up for work at this location.
Yeah, it's like, hey, where do I? That one's closed, so we can move everything. So I think I missed.
So how did you? How did you get? What did you do first? Did you start off bartending, or did you do something different?
I started as a bar back.
A bar back.
Bar back.
Okay. And what's a bar back? What exactly is a bar back?
So the bar back does, basically sets up all the bar, cuts all the fruit, makes all the juices, and then during service washes all the glassware.
If you ask a bar back, they say they do everything but just not pour the drinks.
Yeah.
And is that the truth then?
That's the truth. They don't pour drinks because there's a bartender that takes care of all the guests. The bar back is just like the back. I got your back. So I'll bring you the glasses. I'll bring you more beer, more rum, everything.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did that for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
And then they said, "Hey, you want to be a bartender?" And I go, "Hell yes." And
It's like, I think you know the answer. Well, yeah, it sounds like being a barback.
Yeah.
It's like actual work.
So that's the next step. So I was barback for 2 weeks. The bar manager, George Maggot, he said, "Hey, this is what you got to do. You have to study our menu with the 72 cocktails."
72.
72. And then you have to know those. So I worked my barback shift from 8 to 4. I came back at 6, worked 6 to midnight in the service bar under George, and learned how to make all the cocktails, all the tiki drinks. And then after 2 weeks, now you're on your own. Okay.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I was on my
72 unique Trader Vic's style drinks in 2 weeks.
own. Yes.
And you were a barback for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Whereas many bartenders were barbacks for, say, 2 years before they
Yeah.
stepped into the role.
But
You were on the accelerated learning program, weren't you?
I lucked out. But
So did you have like a true desire to do this then?
yeah.
Because to me, like if I was like a barback and they're like, "All right, learn how to make these 72 drinks," I'd be like, "Well, that's actual real work and actually real."
Well, I wanted that was my goal, was to be in the restaurant. I started as a dishwasher in '69 at the Washington Plaza Hotel.
Yeah.
Then I worked in the purchasing department, so I learned how to wash dishes. I learned how to shipping and receiving.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of favors for Trader Vic's, and they said, "You're a hard worker, so we have an opportunity for you. You want to be a bartender?" And it's like, yeah, I'd like to do that.
So, Ray, if that's all right. So you brought a very special of one of your personal souvenirs, and we're talking about the 72 drinks, and we're drinking one of the unique drinks right now.
We already had a Mai Tai. So Dennis already made us a 44 Mai Tai, which was perfect. It was perfect. It was. I feel jealous because it's like, man, I ain't gonna get any better than that. But let's see that menu over there.
Yeah. So tell us a little about the menu, and tell us about how this drink fits into the menu. You were telling us off camera about how Trader Vic's, when they opened the new places, would open a new drink at each for.
So it's funny. Like right here, it shows like all the different locations that there was back then.
Mm-hmm.
So the drink that we're having now is called the Eastern Sour. So this was created in 1975 when Trader Vic opened
Eastern Sour, right?
one of his 26 restaurants in Toronto. In Toronto. So the
This is what it says. This is what it says, Dennis. A magnificent drink. Fine bourbon with crushed orange, lemon, and ice.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that is a great drink. So, like, what were the hits back then? Like, what were the ones that everyone would go to?
The Mai Tai is number one.
Right off the bat, Mai Tai.
Mai Tai. Everybody's got to have a Mai Tai.
Yep.
Trader Vic invented the Mai Tai, so
Yes,
come to Trader Vic's, got to have the Mai Tai. Also, there was so many other ones. Navy Grog.
The Navy Grog, yes.
We had a one guest. We called him the Grog Father.
The Grog Father.
Because...
Oh my God! I am surprised someone has not took that name,
trademark that name. Yeah.
So there you go, Dennis. That's what you should be. You should rename yourself the Grog Father, right, Joan? Would that be a good idea?
Yes.
So
kiss my ring or kiss my mahogany.
So that was his drink. So and he would come in, and so he would come in and with his party of 4 people. Him and 4 people. And everybody had to have a Navy Grog. You got to have that 151 Demerara rum with the Myers, and you were all set. Everybody liked the rock candy swizzle stick.
Yeah.
And they would collect. There would be a pile there after the Grog Father left because nobody wanted to drink.
I'll tell you what.
Suck on all that
you are now the Grog Father.
The
to
Grog
me, Dennis.
Father. All right.
Well, here's a question that I wonder. What was Trader Vic's back then? Was that perceived as like a family restaurant, or is this a place that the rich and famous went to?
Well, we had a lot of rich and famous, but it was a place to go. I mean, it was Trader Vic's. It's famous. Trader Vic's had its special area. We had the captain's room where it was VIP.
Yeah.
You had to have a jacket. You had to look prestige and be able to sit in that room. But
So when you were working, what did you have to wear? Were you allowed to wear this?
No. So I was required to wear a white shirt and a black tie. There was no Hawaiian shirts or Tiki shirts or whatever. That's
Really?
the way Harry Wong, our manager, he wanted us to always look professional.
Harry Wong.
Harry Wong, he was a legend, I guess.
Mm-hmm. He was a great manager.
Was he?
Yeah. He was fun. He had his personality, but
What
it was
was
great.
his style or personality? Because I've read articles and his name comes up a lot in Seattle Tiki history.
I mean, everybody in Seattle knew him. I mean, he was, the king, for doing parties. We did so many cater outs. We would go to Broadmoor. We would go to the Highlands. We would go here or there.
No, Trader Vic's would cater, like for parties.
Yeah, parties.
And
So you would go. They'd send you out with these things?
Once in a while I would get to go.
And you'd...
Because my shift was Monday through Friday. I had to be there. Yeah. I was there at 10 and I was off at 6.
But these were upscale gigs. These were not... We're not talking about children's parties or backyard barbecues here. We're talking about like serious catering, right?
Well, some of the elite of Seattle, the Warehousers, the Boeing, Freelanders. I mean, these people, their wallets are really thick, so they could afford, a Trader Vic, Mai Tais, and the appetizers.
Trader Vic.
Hold on a second. Well, I'm curious. So this is 1975. Mm-hmm. As I said, I would have been 4 years old. So how much would a Mai Tai cost back then? Let's look here. $3.15.
You think anybody could afford that back then?
I don't know. Could they?
Yeah.
Was that a lot of money back in the 70s? Was it?
For a cocktail? Yeah, I mean, probably.
Well, okay, hold on. I mean, say you went to a bar. Say you just went to like a regular bar.
Oh,
it's the mid-70s, and you ordered a bottle of beer. How much would a bottle of beer cost in the 70s?
Probably like $1.25.
$1.25. Yeah. And this was $3.15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like triple the price of a bottle of beer.
But it was also a restaurant too. They were known for their food.
Their food, yeah. They had the Chinese ovens where they were able to cook all the barbecued pork and steaks and Indonesian lamb roast. I mean, their menu was epic with the food. I mean, they had so many especially the appetizers. We called it the poo-poo platter. Mm-hmm. We'd have like cheese bings. We'd have like barbecued pork, spare ribs.
And you got to eat that stuff, right?
Wow.
And speaking of that, off camera is Joan, who is actually your wife, right?
Correct.
And she used to work at Trader Vic's too.
Yes, she did.
And she was, what were you, Joan?
Hostess.
A hostess with the mostest.
Yeah.
I had to say it. And did you
guys
guys meet at Trader Vic's?
Yes.
There you go.
Cool.
Trader Vic's, a love story.
Well, I was a bad boy, She was 18, and I was like sneaking in Tonga punches. And she goes...
she was 18. And you're like, yeah, here you go. Try this. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. There's no alcohol in it.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's a rough day, we'll, throw a little 151 and make it a zombie,
I really want you to like me.
Yeah. It worked.
And it worked, and you guys are still together after all these years.
Exactly, yeah.
So is that the key to a marriage? Is just alcohol?
No.
This is a fairly common book, older book, the Trader Vic's Bartender's Guide, but since we'll go back to Tiki and Tiki lore, it's the inscription. Tell us about this.
So Trader, everybody thinks he's like Santa Claus. He's fictitious, but he's a real guy, and so he visited all his restaurants back in the '80s. He had 26 of them, and he was sitting at my bar, and
Did you know it was him?
Yeah, I knew it was him.
Hey, everyone!
Yeah.
Victor Bergeron's showing up today.
Yeah, can you show me your wooden leg?
Yeah.
No,
that doesn't look like a wooden leg to me.
How old was he in 1980? Yeah.
Boy.
Probably still old.
Yeah. But I remember, there's stories in there. He had that wooden leg, and so he would stab that wooden leg with an ice pick.
Didn't he claim Didn't he claim it was a shark bite or something like that?
Yeah, but it was actually polio, but it's better.
It's a better story. Yeah.
The shark bite.
It's polio.
But he was a great guy. And then also, another time,
great.
I met his son, Lynn. He was sitting at the bar. I didn't know who he was. I go,
Lynn.
hey, who are you? And he goes, I own the joint. And I go, I'm Lynn. I'm Trader's son. It's like, oh, nice to meet you.
No, wait. So is his last name like Lynn Bergeron?
Lynn Bergeron, yeah. Not Trader Vic Jr., only Lynn Bergeron.
Bergeron, Wong, these are the Seattle and
Hold on.
Bergeron
Did he actually
wife.
say that then as, I own the joint?
Yeah. That was Lynn, yeah.
Speaking of bad boy, you told me, well, eventually you started working at the Space Needle. There was a restaurant in the Space Needle, or up on the Space Needle, and now there's a bar.
Now there's a bar.
So
no, the restaurant is gone, but I'm in it's called the Loop Lounge at the Space Needle.
So when did you start working at the Space Needle then?
Started working in 1982.
82.
So now you can tell us about your anniversary.
Speaking of bad boy, you have a picture of you climbing like the tippy top tower
Climb the top
of the Space Needle.
Climb the top. I'm a smart ass. I go, hey, I got to stand on top of the roof. I go, hey, can I touch the red beacon? And they go, hell, you can. And it's like, okay. So I climbed up, touched the beacon, got a picture. And
so in May, your anniversary
May 8th.
will be the big
40.
In one job, you've worked 40.
40 years.
So how many rotations of the Space Needle do you think you've been through? Have you ever thought about that?
No. Too many.
You must. Well, you probably hold the record for most laps around
How
the
many
Space
revolutions around the Space Needle?
Yeah, since most people don't know that it slowly moves. So yeah,
Slowly moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes 35 minutes to make a complete rotation.
Is that how long it was?
And then your average shift used to be, or still is.
Well, how did
we can do a little math. It must be in the.
It's always like 8
So
hours.
how did you start making? How did you get that gig? Working as a bartender on the Space Needle.
So I left Trader Vic's and then I tried something else and then so that didn't work out. So it's like I saw an ad to be a bartender at the Space Needle. It's like that's a good place to work.
Yeah.
Started there in '82 and been there since.
Cool. What are people ordering when you're on top of the Space Needle?
Oh, so we have like a package deal where we'll do like a paper plane. We'll do it with a paper plane, a margarita, and a Negroni as part of our package. But I'll do anything. But we just don't have a lot of. We have a small bar. It's not like it's even smaller than the bar we have here. So yeah.
Oh wow, that is tiny.
You've been at the Space Needle. You're going on how many years?
40.
40 years. And you're actually going to recreate your picture. You're going to climb up that tower again.
No, nobody's allowed to climb.
Oh, you're not allowed to do it?
Because of me. So nobody is allowed to climb the tower again and touch the red beacon. It's kind of like the dentist rule. It was interesting though when that Trader Vic opened in Bellevue.
Yeah.
So I was actually working at the Space Needle and someone called me and was one of my old customers at the Trader Vic Seattle.
Yeah.
They came in every Friday.
Yeah.
And they said we had this drink, the Tiki Puka Puka, at the Bellevue Trader Vic's, and it was lousy. Was weak. And I go, well, when you came in, you were a regular. So I always, at the Trader Vic's in Seattle, I always gave you a lot of extra love, So instead of getting that 3/4 ounce of rum, you got like 1.5 ounces of rum because, you were a return customer. You and your wife came. Friday was your date night.
Yeah.
You sat at my bar. You had your Tiki Puka Puka with the gardenia, and then you moved on and had dinner. I mean, I had to take care of you, and you came in there for 3-4 years every Friday,
So these drinks,
but they didn't, huh?
These drinks are so awesome because you're giving us some special love.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
When you mean special love, you mean extra booze.
Yes,
it works for me. What do you think led to the decline, beginning, I guess, in the 80s?
Yeah. I mean, because obviously the Trader Vic's that was in Seattle closed in the early 90s.
Right.
And it didn't close because it was so successful at that point. What happened? Do you have any ideas?
I have no idea. You know, people move on. You know, it's a whole different generation.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess the whole tiki thing doesn't fit in with the grunge aesthetic, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well,
the 90s.
I mean, well, the post-hippie
How much
aesthetic.
How much cooler would grunge would have been instead of them wearing flannel shirts? They're all wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Imagine
yeah.
if Kurt Cobain with one of these on.
Yeah.